I'm Andrea Byrne. I'm presenting from New York. I'm right now at the Center for Jewish History, but I'm working with Ross on this project. And Ross, if you want to.
I'm Ross Spencer. I'm a digital preservation person. I'm currently independent contractor, and I live in Leipzig.
And we're going to talk to you about a project we're starting called Digital Preservation as People. And you're like, oh, what is that? We're going to give you the Julia Roberts overview from Notting Hill, our North Star. We're a professional association standing in front of No Time to Wait 8, introducing itself to you. So hello. Ross and I first met, I think, around 10 years ago when we were working at Archives New Zealand. And we worked really closely together and really well together. And we kept that connection going even though we went on to different positions, different parts of the world. And we both had this idea for digital preservation as people around like 2018. And at first it was just a site on GitHub where we were blogging and collecting codes of conduct, and also Ross set up a kind of mechanism for kind of collating what salaries were offered in job listings. And then sometime around last winter, Ross contacted me and he was like, hey, we should think about rebooting this. He had a new logo. He had like really great ideas to put out a like clear mission statement and to make digital preservation as people a little bit more collaborative and more flexible and like more open to a wider audience. So we launched it in the summer of 2024 by putting on our mission statement, and it's been kind of a slow burn because it's summer, people are at the beach, you know, so it was more of a soft launch. And we know that it's going to be slow to get it growing, but we are hoping that over time, as long as we're consistent, digital preservation people will grow. So who is it? Well, first off, it's Ross and myself. Ross, shortly after he contacted me about restarting it, sent me a first draft of what would become our mission statement. And together, we worked together to refine it, putting together concrete thoughts, trying to make it, refined for a larger audience. And after we felt that the mission statement was at a good place, we sent it out to a few of our colleagues and close friends to see what they thought, to get their feedback, to get their ideas as well, and adding that into the mission statement. And then, since we launched it, we got lots of folks on the Discord, which is really exciting when we launch the Discord. Every time we get a new Discord user, Ross and I'd be like, oh, someone else is on. It's not really chatty at the moment, but once you post something, people are really responsive. And also if any of what we're talking about resonates, we hope that you will join us and talk with us and get involved.
And it really is anyone who is involved in digital preservation. It really encompasses so many different areas of what we do. There's librarians. Often it's like we recognize librarians and archivists and curators as today, but there are always architects, information management professionals out there, humanists, other software developers. We're hearing it a lot at this conference. There's IT departments to deal with. They're people too. Programmers, other disciplines. We often try and solve a lot of problems on our own, but there are people who are also subject matter experts that can help us out there, like statisticians, information security experts. I've put community archivists here as if they're separate from the other lists, but often they're also solving so many problems on their own. We just want to provide a place to support and amplify some of their challenges. And who is really anyone? What about vendors? But vendors are people too, but often they don't often present as people. They're often trying to sell you something. But these companies are often built of people who are really, really expert at what they do. And we would like to invite them into the tent and not treat them as separate. As long as they're not trying to sell us the product, they're subject matter experts and everyone else involved who wants to engage eye to eye on some of these issues. We want. And yep, so we can broaden the church, proactively approach industry for some of the problems we have, especially some of the social media companies or who might be storing our data that might not give us the best ways of archiving it. Industries that are writing specifications who we can maybe provide some thoughts to about how you improve codec, and which this community is already very well familiar with. We do believe institutional, bias for institution feels like the wrong approach. Institutions go through different seasons. The government of the day might change the amount of resources you have to solve some of the problems you have, or worse, take away some of your ability to do important things. But it's a catch-22. Lots of your organizations paying for you all to be here, but while the organization changes or government changes or whatever else, you're the constant, and you're the ones who kind of still have to keep doing your job and need a place to maybe share, maybe vent. But it's difficult. There's a more nuanced sort of view of this, I think, in the mission statement. How do you talk more without, I think I'm on the next slide, Andrea, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, not quite.
So,
No, you can go.
Okay, great. Yeah, and also, so many roles are changing. So the role of the subject matter expert, the role of the manager, someone with woo, which means winning others over, people who are very persuasive in selling digital preservation to their organizations, this might all be now the same role. There's so many unicorn job listings. And in an ideal world, we would say these roles have to go, these should each be different people. But we don't live in an ideal world, and we have to be able to support people with these kinds of Frankenstein unicorn type roles. And also if people are lucky enough to have an organization where these are individual roles, we want to bring them into the fold too, because the person who's a manager, they were probably working day-to-day in digital preservation in the first place, and now may not feel as in touch with the community as they used to. And people who are persuading their institutions that digital preservation is needed want to be in touch with the community as well, so they know what's going on and how to sell it.
And people mean valuing the diversity of context. There are lots of different roles. Valuing, sort of looking at the changing context. When something does change, how do you still continue to do what you need to do? How are you supported? How do we amplify your messages? And actually, something really important here, I think, is the need for changing context. You might feel like you're not getting paid enough. You might need to change your job. Your family life might have changed. You have to change your job, but you might not have a landing mat waiting for you. The roles in this field are minimal. Probably all of your organizations are already at capacity. So where do you go if you do have to change your context?
So we have a lot of questions to answer, and the answers might not be the same. There might not only be one answer. Within our association, digital preservationist people, how do we create trust? How do we get people to trust us as an association? And hand in hand in that, how do we create safety so that people feel safe kind of sharing their ideas and their thoughts and their experiences and their past? And how do we enable people to share? And then how do we find different networks that we might not know about? Not necessarily people who have been in touch with digital preservation, but people who exist elsewhere who are interested in saving their data, or those people on Reddit who are data hoarders, maybe we want to talk to them. And also we want to know what the expectations for our initiative are. What can we possibly do, and what in our capacity do we have, can we do? So we have so many questions. So we're planning to have a town hall. This is the town hall where Ross lives. It will not be held here. It will be virtual. We're hoping to have it sometime before Christmas. And in that town hall, we hope to kind of accentuate the positives. We don't want it to be a place to vent about disappointments, or just like thinking about, the positive ways maybe someone was supported, the positive way that someone supported other people, and trying to put the people first and not just the profession and not just what you are. Like, you're not just a digital preservation person, you're a person. And also having a wider open tent, so not just getting your usual suspects, the community, but like other people who are interested, who kind of touch on digital preservation, other disciplines, and other perspectives. And we also in the town hall want to ask why people fall out of the digital preservation community. Did they change jobs, or are they just don't have the capacity anymore, or they're just, focusing on other things in their lives, and what that impact is on the community and on themselves, and what can be different.
And yeah, so a good example is if someone leaves the community, usually it's probably going to be a loss for us. But also, is it a mindset that anyone loses? They're going to take that with them, possibly into another industry. So we should probably keep the door open, but keeping that door open takes many shapes and many different ways of understanding. So like, not everyone is Library of Congress, BFI or MoMA, but there are new sites to be shared for individuals from outside our walls, but they could be initially from inside our walls. We don't have the same organizational ties anymore, so we can't be as reciprocal in approach. I think people are very open to be like, I work for National Archive, I work for National Gallery, let's, go and talk to each other in our own places. But like, it's not as easy if you're working for like, a small community archive or something. We need a coalition of folks who have the background to recognize this and can break down the walls and barriers and be a touchstone or a touch point for folks who are in these positions.
So how are we going to go about doing this? What is our approach? We're hoping to be more casual. There's not going to be like a formal membership, no membership dues, or like these meetings that you have to go to or anything like that. So like a lot less obligations, because our hope is to not be another source of burnout. We know when you join an organization, you're putting it on top of the jobs that you're already doing. And that can be a lot sometimes. Sometimes it feels like you need to have more than 24 hours a day to do everything. So, we're not going to be creating a product or like holding a conference, and there's not like a committee. Like maybe in the future, it might be designed, like we might want to do that, but at the time, no. Like we just want it to be very casual at this time.
And it can be anything the group decides. There are ways of collaborating with each other that folks like Lizana and Dragon like pioneer and have been really good at. Right now, it's just a message on a Discord or a blog. There's an opportunity to be anything. It could be an incubator, like if people need like extra support. It could, but the town hall will help define things. Self-organizing groups would be great, and becoming decentralized is a really important part of this.
So we're on the internet. You can find us there. We do have a Discord server, like we said, but if your Discord is not your thing, I was doing this presentation, I was running through it with my partner yesterday, and he's like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do Discord. I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to. We have a Write As site where we have different prompts. Ross will be talking about that. And also, I feel like on your social media, you can hashtag and have a conversation. And we're around. We're on the internet. If you're not on the internet, that's cool. We'll be at your local food court at 7 p.m. on a Friday. So how... we really like our main goal is to provide a way to maintain this connection so that we can amplify, the ideals that we set forth in our mission statement. And, the mission statement is a growing document. It's living. It depends what other people have ideas about. We want to support those individuals and provide a space, and to have people who maybe aren't as vocal in the community, enable their voices. And in that way, we're able to accept and present different views, to have lots of questions and discussions, and maybe seeing alternative ways of going about doing things.
Oh, sorry, it's me. And so, please join the Discord. Keep sharing your stories. We have these things called prompts, inspired a little bit by the OPF, where you can write blogs for us, and we'll promote the blog and do the best we can to get like traffic going to it. Keep sharing your challenges, your workarounds. especially your work around, share the experiences you have and share the alternative vision. Like, what is the ideal and how do we get to it from working backwards? This is an example of some of the prompts. There's a link at the end of this presentation. You can log into the link and you can get the mission statement. You can get some other links related to DPIP, plus some of our inspirations, plus access to these prompts if you're interested in writing any content for us. You can put the logo somewhere, but instead of that, just read the message and live any part of the message that resonates with you. And especially if something is missing, just let us know. Before we go, our touch points are for Bazi, ETA, vocational OR, of course, which I think everyone knows, but very few people I see very few people just reminding everyone every day that people are doing too much. Cassie, Finley, this is an amazing presentation. It's in the links. She talks about changing roles, enabling more people, decentralization. Empathy and technology is a really good initiative. Lozano and Dragan as well. Like this. I mean, I guess even if you're not doing Wikidata, you should join this group because they're awesome. Jay Weatherburn, Matthew Burgess, who's here. Australia Preserves, that's a great group. And the maintainers, of course. And some of these are examples of places that aren't always so chatty, but I think are very impactful.
And to bring it back to Julia Roberts, our North Star, from Notting Hill, we hope that if any of this resonates with you, if anything of this is interesting to you, or you feel strongly about it, or you hate it, you'll introduce yourselves to the digital preservationist people, and you'll engage and create conversations, and keep an eye out for us. Keep an eye out for the town hall. We're also hoping to have little seminars where people talk about stuff. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And this is a QR code that will bring you to a link tree of different ways you can connect to us, and also those things that Ross mentioned before, our touch points. There's links to those as well, kind of as a bibliography. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you, Ross.
For Ross and Andrea? Sorry, before. My bad. No, it's okay. Yeah, no, you have to. Yeah.
Thank you for this. I have a question in terms of, I hear a lot of stories where people are basically, they want to do something, and there are politics and things and so on, and you hear this when you meet the people in person, but these stories reoccur. I think a lot of you know these stories, like I would like to, but this and that, Sachzwänge and so on. How should we deal with this? Do videos where you can't see the people and you just do their voices differently? Because no one will dare to publish that, because if anyone figures out who they are, you know what I mean?
Do you want to go with that, Andrea?
Yeah, let me